Good afternoon. Thank you so much for coming. It's flute time. Got a really nice mix of a program for you today. Those of you repeat offenders who are here again, you've already met the 4 students that we have. One quick announcement. We're proud to announce that last night Anthony Triumfo won the concerto competition, so he will be performing the Jolivet Flute Concerto on Saturday the 9th of July, so you won't want to miss that. I think we ought to have some flute music. Who would like to go first? Yay! Hey, yodeling! She begged and begged and begged me to allow her to talk about this music, so I have relented. What would you like to tell us about the pieces you're going to play?
Oh, I'll be playing 3 pieces by Horne, Gabriel Horne, and the first one is Sicilian, and the second one is Marcel de Concours, and the last one is Fantasy.
What can you tell us about this music?
I want to talk about the composer a little bit. Horne was French composer, organist, and teacher. And he was one of the foremost French composer of his generation. And his musical style influenced 20th century composers. And he studied with Camille Saint-Saëns, the French composer, so there are so many similarities in their works. Yeah,
good.
That's what
So what do you know about the first piece, the Sicilian? Did he write that for flute originally? Did you find out about that?
Originally, it's for violin.
Maybe even cello, actually.
Oh, okay.
So we all steal everything that we can whenever we find a good piece of music. And then the Morceau de Concours is a piece that has been more or less recently discovered. I don't think it was played very much, except 15 or 20 years ago someone found a copy of it. Mm-hmm. It's a lovely representation of a great composer. So, and would you like to introduce your pianist?
Oh, she's Sora Jung, and she's also Korean, but I haven't met her before, so we're really close right now.
That's good. All right. always like to just talk about this a minute. I like to talk about some of the nitty-gritty underneath part of the craft that goes into making something sound so beautiful and so easy, which she really did. I really don't have critical comments. I would say that there might have been a couple of unified pianissimos both of you could have been a little more extreme with, but it wasn't like bothersome. But I think, I always think when the two of you unite in an amazing soft passage, it's pretty special. But I want to talk about what makes this opening melody really work for a flutist. And I want to have her play it two ways for you. The way she naturally plays it is the way I like to hear it, where she's using a lot of vibrato. You can't see her vibrato, but you definitely can hear it. There is no really right or wrong way. We all have our ideas about it. I tend to like a lot of vibrato. I think it gives the music a little more expression. Vibrato also can help go through intervals. And if you watch closely, when you ever watch a really truly great string player, violin, cellist, or whatever, watch how they are able to continue the vibrato so that as they play a melody, it's a lot more vocal rather than dee da da, but dee da 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 da, where you feel kind of the shimmer and the color in the sound. So I want you to play it, actually the two of you, the first time actually play it without any vibrato at all. And it's not going to be terrible. Let's hear it. It's just so much more vocal-like, so much more beautiful. And it's one of the things that, you know, as a teacher and as a high-level player, we really have to examine. One of the real problems that a lot of even highly skilled players have is that their vibrato, the use of vibrato, is more or less automatic and kind of on its own without a lot of dedicated thought about it. So it's one of the things I have been pushing her on, and you've got it the way I like. Okay, let's listen to the next piece. More so. And now you've got something to listen for. Stop here because basically the piece now just repeats itself, and it's a lovely idea, but there's nothing really new that happens. There's one note I want you to make me a little happier on. This climactic high F in the piece needs to be way more open and deep rather than driven. Really think very, very low on that. Could we start the bar 11? Vibrato going early. Yeah, really, really big full vibrato. Same place. Yeah. So here's what you're doing, a very natural thing. You go, you're hitting it and then you're getting comfortable and then you're vibrating. So start thinking about your vibrato on the A pickup. Ya. That's the kind of exercise I want all of my students and myself to practice, where you go up through a big interval and you practice instead of going there, going here, so that it just flowers. It's like the sky's opening, a flower blooming. Okay, so we're going to skip down to the second half of the piece. And we're going to start the pickup into 24. Let's do actually 23. For a minute. Is it easy for you to get all the way here, or are you running out of air? Probably running out of air. So how can you get all the way to this very difficult low note? How can you make me happy on the high F? So this high F that we're talking about is the first part of a really long phrase. Let me hear you play it by yourself. And I'm not going to let you get off of that F until I'm happy. And then you can. Okay, you ready? Alone. So you made it. One of the things you have to do after you bloom and flower on that note is then on the scale, don't use so much air so that you narrow it in, so that you really have some juice left on that low C. That was beautiful. Let's have both of you. The same place, part 25. Here we go. Thank you. Now, take away your security blanket. She loves me for pushing her so hard. Maybe. This is actually one of the absolute most standard pieces in the flute repertoire. Really good high school players will play it, and definitely professionals play it a lot. It's a wonderful recital piece. $25 for not acknowledging her immediately. It's one of the things that we have to do as instrumentalists who depend on great pianists. We don't always get great pianists like this. And it's like, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so tell us the story about when you last played this piece before this week.
Probably I played this like 16 years old.
16?
Mm-hmm.
And you're now 17? So she said she wanted to play it, and I love the piece, and I was happy about that, but I said, I know you played that when you were 12. And she said, no. And so it's like, okay, but I know what her talent is. And so 2 days ago at her lesson, was it 2 days ago? I insisted that she play it from memory today. So how did she do that?
I practiced a lot.
Yeah. And it's just that simple. One of the things that those of you who were here when Anthony played his Jolivet concerto, that is just simply a matter, it takes so much hard work to actually memorize something like that. And there's a very interesting controversy that goes on amongst wind players, string players, and pianists. A lot of the wind players, including brass, feel that playing from memory is not really important. And I don't agree with that so much. I think that maybe you don't play better from memory, but one thing about it, if you memorize something, you can't do it without working really, really hard. So I force my students to memorize things just because I know it's going to keep them in the practice room. And bravo, it did it. Okay, so speaking of Anthony Triunfo, and this is definitely not Jolivet. Please welcome Anthony. And do you have an accompanist?
I do. This is...
All right.
I'm Anthony. And this is...
Anthony has his own page turner. I mean, Nathan has.
This is Nathan. Today we're going to be playing for you the Bach Sonata in G minor. And if any of you in the front row can see, it says Bach ? And little parentheses. And that's because Bach was known to write 7 sonatas for the flute, but upon research and looking at manuscripts, originally they were all thought to be of his, but then it was whittled down to 4, and now, most recently, most people think only 2 of the 7 were actually written by him, and this one in particular has caused a lot of controversy because there are 3 original manuscripts, and each one has a different signature by a different Bach. So, in addition to being a flute sonata, it's also considered to probably be a violin sonata or even an oboe sonata. So there's really a lot of confusion about it. But I'm going to play on the flute today for you guys. So it's great work.
we'll talk. So, when Bach wrote this piece, what was his keyboard of choice? This is probably 1730.
It's probably a harpsichord.
Probably a harpsichord. And tell all of us how a harpsichord works compared to how this works. You didn't expect that, did you?
No, I did not.
Do you play harpsichord?
I do not. So, maybe look at the mechanism.
Do you know how a harpsichord works?
Isn't it plucked instead of hit?
Mm-hmm. Quite different. A lot of you, I'm sure, know that. A piano has a hammer. He presses the keyboard down and a hammer goes up and bangs a string and it makes a noise. Harpsichord was a plucking mechanism. You press the keyboard down and like a guitar plucking. So it was quite a different sounding instrument. Do you know what instrument he would have written this for?
For the Baroque flute?
Potentially, although this is right in the, I actually did a little research. This was in the period when the recorder was being superseded by the traverso or the Baroque flute, which is a straight wooden tube, sometimes with one key on it, but a very soft instrument. So when we play this music, it's granted we have to say, sorry, we're using modern instruments. One of the things I want to talk, first of all, it's a beautiful performance, two really great players. You could dig and dig and dig, going into all sorts of details and maybe come up with a little better performance. The one thing I do want to talk about is the articulation. Nathan's played a lot of Bach on the piano, clearly. And it sounds like you love Bach. Am I wrong?
Great music.
Yeah. And one of the things that I want to do in my own playing, and I want to push my students to do, is when you do play collaboratively in Bach, I think it's more important to match what articulations he has. And we have the option generally of going ta 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 da 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 tia ta ta tia. We can do all sorts of articulations and make it a little more interesting. But generally on the piano, especially in Bach, you don't hear a lot of that. So I'd like to look in the third movement a little bit. And let's see if we can dig a little bit into how you guys can sound like exactly the same kind of interpreter on all of these 16th notes. Because Bach is, whoever wrote the piece, maybe his son, one of his sons, this is back and forth. He plays a line, Anthony plays a line, mirrored, and sometimes they're together. So let's start it from the beginning, and let's just play a few measures. And I want you to, let's let him be the leader right now,
okay.
And let's see if we can match what he's doing. Are you doing anything differently?
Playing shorter, more.
And does it feel better?
It's good, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say that most of my performing life, I was guilty of kind of being a flute player and not thinking about this concept. Now, is there any other way that you would play this piece legitimately as a Bach player?
It doesn't have to be actually as short.
So let's hear a different interpretation.
Okay. I'll try.
And Anthony will pick up on that. The point is that they have to be unified. And that's a lot of times with really high-level players like this, you just kind of take it for granted and it ends up maybe not going to that highest possible level. Did you rehearse it one time? Yeah. And it's basically, guys like this can sight read a very difficult piece of music and really not make any mistakes, and it works pretty well. I want to go now into the part where you have the. So does that start around 39 or 40? Where's a good starting place?
Maybe 35.
35 would be great. Now, whatever he does, you're going to do. Good. the things. Now, how important is your repeated note?
I don't think they're.
Maybe you played it a little too importantly.
Yes.
Because I couldn't hear Anthony. Just kidding. So let's do that again. I like the punch of it, but I think if it can be punchy but one level softer.
Okay.
Same place, 35. Good. So now let's play your 16th repeated notes. Now. Together, ready, go. Good, just to see exactly how to match that. It's a good challenge. The bottom line is this: I love the performance, but I think this could take it to maybe another level. The first movement, I thought a lot of the same ideas, just the articulation could be matched. I think as I'm teaching this thing with you right now, I'm thinking probably not many slurs in this one. And for example, we have a couple of solo pieces, one in particular called the A minor partita, which is for solo flute alone. In that one, a lot of times we add articulations, but the original manuscript, if that's what it is, doesn't have many articulations. This has nothing. This is pretty close to the original. It only has the individual notes, and we often will add our own articulations. I think I prefer it a little straighter, especially when we've got somebody like this playing it. Well, let's finish with the grand finale here. Could we start at 101?
Yes.
Let's work out that ornament. What do you want to do in the end?
Wow, what did I do? I guess right before.
The standard thing in Bach is always when you have a dotted note followed by a 16th note, you trill with an appoggiatura. Let's both of you do that together. Ready, go. Oh, just on the trill. Ready, go. Yeah, and if you can do it exactly the same, it's amazing. So the whole last two bars, ya ta 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 ta. Ready, go. Pretty close. Let's go back to the last four bars. Bravo! Thank you. Patrick Suji. And Margaret. Yay! All right, tell us.
So I'll be playing the third movement of the Carl Vine Flute Sonata. It's about a 13-minute work altogether, but I'm just playing the last movement, which is about 4 or 5 minutes. Carl Vine is an Australian composer. He's, I guess his most famous work is his Piano Sonata. I guess you could consider him a contemporary classical composer. He's not really, all of his music is pretty tonal, and there's a lot of traits of proto-minimalism, like early traits.
Tell us what that is.
Proto-minimalism is like the earliest form of minimalism, which is
we want to know.
It's a style of music that was popular in the late 20th century.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the most famous composer I could think of is Philip Glass.
So give us an example of minimalism.
And that's actually the piano part.
That is actually she is also creative. Now let's hear your own minimalist. This is going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. Let's see.
That's it. The same thing over and over and over and over and over with slight variations. Don't you love me? So why did you pick this piece?
I'm preparing it for a competition that's at the end of the summer, the National Flute Association Young Artist Competition in San Diego. So this is on the semifinal round. So they just want to hear this really technical movement.
This is really a technical movement.
Yeah.
This is an etude on steroids. was easy. I'm going to be on a 10-second tangent here. I should have said this earlier in the day. This class is sponsored by two very dear friends of the flute community here. Bob and Elaine Toledo, thank you so much for your sponsorship. The Halsteads, Laura Kuhn, they are so instrumental, the Dailies, in making us have such an unbelievable summer. The students are so grateful, so thank you so much for all of your support. So, where do you want to go with this? How are you going to get there, and how long is it going to take? And I think it's important to calculate that, because he has a pile of music to learn by August the 10th. So that's 6 weeks, almost. So where would you say, and don't undersell yourself right now, but on a scale of 1 to 10, where is the piece right now? Kind of based on this performance, but in general, where are you?
6.
6? Yeah. How does it get to 7?
Well, we've been rehearsing a bunch and kind of taking it under tempo and then doing increments of maybe 5 clicks or so, and just going through it slowly and figuring out what specific measures are the ones that...
Yeah, so the tried and tested method of over and over, lots of repetitions, slow, building up, building up, building up. The difficulty with this piece, well, the difficult part of playing the flute, technically, is when we get into our 3rd octave. The way the flute works is that we have 1 octave of natural fingerings. So when I play all of my buttons down, the flute is in its lowest octave. The flute is actually this long. Those are my natural notes. Once I start going, I'm no longer using natural fingerings. I'm using harmonics. I'm playing fingerings that might be similar, might even be the same, but basically I'm not using the original God-given fingerings that make this note, make the flute have its fundamentals. Then when you get to the 3rd octave, once you're up there, the only way those notes come out, because they're based on these harmonics, is with these crazy cross fingerings. So that instead of just doing something like this, pretty nice, just lift a finger, up high you would get this. But it doesn't work, so I have to do. So my fingers are going kind of against each other in contrary motion. And that's the easiest scale we have on the flute. It turns out that Mr. Vine wrote something basically in the key of E major and A major, which gives us tons and tons of ridiculous cross fingerings. So a lot of this work, while the standard method of, okay, I'm going to do it over and over again, you really have to address the specifics of why is it so hard to go from high B to G sharp to A to F sharp? Because it looks simple on the page. And that's what Patrick's going to be dealing with for quite a while. All I can tell you is that I think 7 is really close at hand. I think 9 is probably 15 hours away. And, you know, it's great that you were able to work with her on it. The problem is you can't let your frustration overwhelm you when you work on something like this. And also the physicality of being tired, because when you're up there in the high register working on those notes, all of a sudden it's like, man, my lips are shaking and all of this stuff is happening. So I know that's going to be handled. I think I want to work on some other problem. I think that something that happens to most of us when we play stuff that's this really, really aggressive, difficult kind of music, we tend to get a little too loud. Mm-hmm. And your first entrance was absolutely off the charts too loud. Did you intend to do that?
No.
What? It was like, whoa, we just had a tornado pass through here. So tell them what the dynamic is.
Mezzo piano.
That's just a little north of piano. So let's start out by, I really want you to, I would say two things in general when you're working on it in the coming weeks. Practice it softly. Really practice it softly. The other thing is when you're, and this is for all the students, when you're practicing all of this stuff in the high register, I promise you, your hearing is going to take a loss. So wear plugs or wear headphones, because you'll be going for a long time and you don't realize what's happening. Hello. It's probably mine. Okay, so let's try it again, and let's see what we can do a little slower and with a really big attention to the dynamics. Get ready for it. Yes, so boom, you go from mezzo forte up to fortissimo. I want to hear it again, and normally one of my credos in teaching is I want it to be shorter and more precise and a little more aggressive. In this case, I'm going to ask you to back it off a little bit. Play soft. Let me see if it doesn't, maybe not quite so short. I just want to hear what that sounds like. Give him 2 bars, please. Yeah, I think you got to play it that way.
Okay.
It just sounds so much easier. The thing is, when you're playing something at this tempo, when it's short, all of a sudden your tongue starts to lock a little. So you want to make it smooth. That was really good. Okay, let's play for a bit. 2 bars. Not so short. Get back. No, you gotta be soft. It's so much better, so much better. Are you playing a little longer? Good. Okay, let's do bar 263. Easy. You know what? How hard is it to come back? Do I have to pay you? I will. Okay, here's 263 again. Good. And once again, softer but not so short. Good. Way better. Without Margaret, let me hear you do this true mezzo piano at this tempo. Great, a little faster. Beautiful, faster. Keep your air moving. Great. Now a little faster with her. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. That was like good. Can you do that again? Of course you can. Okay, great. So now let's do the next section. We'll start. Give him his 2 bars. Good. Great. One more time. I think without a crescendo. crescendo. It's incredible if you can do it. Would you give him the 2 bars again, please? Thank you. Still down. Let me interrupt to say it sounds like a totally different player. So proud of you. I mean, that is good. How hard was that?
Not too hard. Just more focus.
Got to do it. It really makes it happen. Okay, 308. Still soft. As far as I'm concerned, it's well into the 7s, approaching the 8s. This is a marathon. He's already, in a recital sometimes, this is the 3rd movement of a piece that already had 2 movements, and it might even be the last piece on your program. So you are definitely beyond mental exhaustion when you get to a piece. So how do you train yourself to be a true marathoner? Because that's really what's going on here. And he's only doing the 3rd movement. One of the things that I'll recommend is that when you practice, this ending is just full on, I mean, all the physicality you've got and whatever mental chops you've got left. I would play the ending, I would go back to here 3 times, just to train yourself to go way, way, way beyond. Because what happens is you get to here, it's like, I know I can make this last hurdle. There's this ridiculously, maybe the hardest lick in the piece, 5 measures before the end. And you don't want that to be like the biggest hurdle in your life. So I think if you just do it and realize I got to do this 3 times, that can help. Maybe we could even practice that. Nah. Nah, we don't wanna do that. By the way, so one of the things for that high B flat, don't hit the trill key. So high B flat will come out. You don't have to. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That might help, and that might be a place where you want to use the G flat thumb B natural. Okay, now I just want to hear the beginning one more time at full tempo. What is that going to be? What is that number? Does it say? Does it have a number? 154? I think you're there. All right. Thank you, Margaret. Annie Wu. How many people got to hear her play The Afternoon of a Faun? How much fun was that? So it's really a wild experience for a flute player the first time you ever get to do it for real. And there's no doubt that you've got this going on. Oh. Heart jumping out of your, and it's like, okay. And because she looked so calm, so cool, I asked her, what was it like? And tell us.
I was really nervous. But Larry's very comforting. Some conductors choose to look right at you and conduct. He does this centering thing, and he just invites me to start so I can calm down and play. And it's one of those pieces that begins with just the flute, so I think it's a lot of pressure on you to begin, but once you start that atmosphere, it all kind of just comes together. And
that's what happened. So you were nervous on the first note, maybe? A little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it.
Okay.
Okay, so that was Debussy. Tell us about this composer.
I'm going to be playing the Dutu Sonatine with Milhaud today. It's a really great piece. Dutu just passed away in 2013, actually, so he's a relatively recent composer. I adore his music, and this is one of my favorite pieces, but he actually really didn't like this piece. He composed this for a competition at the Paris Conservatory. They have a competition every year of young flutists, and they commission a French composer, to write a piece, and it's usually in a formula of a slowish passage and then a quick passage to see if a player is versatile. So this one follows that formula pretty strictly, and Dutu didn't love it because it wasn't in the style that his music eventually evolved into, but a lot of flutists love it because it is still a really wonderful piece. And actually, fun fact, this piece I learned in high school, and the very first time I played it for public was at Jim's Masterclass when I was 15. So,
wow. I remember Annie when she was 15.
I had braces.
And she was amazing then, too. It was very, very cool. I read a little bit about this because I've heard that he completely didn't want to hear about all the flute players playing it. And I love the quote that I read. He said, as much as I'm not happy about all the flutists playing it, I'm not going to put an embargo on it. Okay, let's have it. Oh, sorry, I hate to interrupt. I want this to feel more coordinated tempo-wise in the beginning.
Yeah.
Is she doing something you don't want to do?
A little bit faster.
Yeah. So give her your tempo. Is that good? Listen, it's the most awkward thing when you've got a great pianist to like say anything, make a suggestion. It's like, I don't think I should say anything. Well, the good pianists, they want to collaborate more than they want to be the boss or just be the hired gun. So I think the more we practice really communicating and making it a collaboration. So you need to be clearer on the tempo. So you could play right here for her. Show her exactly what you want to do. Feel good? Okay. catch it one more time. Give her the
Right.
3/4 bar.
3/4 bar.
Mhm. Beautiful, beautiful. So, I want to watch you rehearse.
Yeah, sorry. Can I grab some water?
Yeah, you can have some water. You want some caffeine? Such a great, I mean, really, such a great take on the piece. You don't sound 15. Really, it's beautiful playing. But I want you to, I want us all to see how you work with your pianist.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, let's start showing her what you're going to do from here. And I have one recommendation. I didn't like the cutoff. I think it is a non-short thing. It leads more to better to what you're doing here.
From there?
Yeah, so let's start on that drill.
Oh, wait, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Good. Now, what dynamic does she have?
Piano?
What do you have?
Pianissimo. Oh.
Okay, so now tell her what's happening there.
I'm getting a little faster because I'm running out of air.
You have to anticipate her caffeine. No, it's a totally, you're doing exactly what I think you should do.
Okay.
Just, I don't know if you can lead her better.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Much better.
Okay.
It's hard not to applaud, but we'll save it. Did you ask her to play those F's for you?
Oh. No.
What do you think?
They're really sharp.
Really, really sharp.
Okay.
But you, in the heat of the moment and, you know, the excitement of the piece, who cares about it? Only Flute Geek guy really cares about it. You're definitely way sharp.
Yeah.
So I want you to play these chords for her. Just play that one. Good. Next one. Good. Now let's do this tanto. Bom ba-da-dee,
Okay.
bom ba-da-da. Ready, go. How about that?
Okay.
Now, in time. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Way, way better. Okay, so just a few things I want to talk about. Well, the first thing that comes to mind, this part of the cadenza. And a cadenza, basically you are kind of on your own to do whatever, to interpret the way you want to. So I've got a little bit of different idea. When I see, within a cadenza generally you don't have bar lines, but you have relative notes, quarters, halves, eighths, all of this sort of thing. You're getting off of this note always really early. It's the way
okay.
you hear it. Mm-hmm. And to me, I mean, dee, ba-dum, 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 ba-dum.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
basically it should, the relative values should remain in a cadenza. You can stretch and, you know, forward, backwards, but I think the relative
Okay.
values are good. And then you've got the same thing here.
Mm-hmm.
So I love everything leading up to it. So could you do that? Yeah, I'm happy.
Okay.
Good, good, good. Now, the only thing that echoed what we've been working on the last 2 or 3 weeks, Annie is such an amazing go after it kind of player. I love every part of that instinct. A lot of times, not a lot of times, sometimes that translates into a little bit of a strident sound. And it happened.
Isn't the second movement?
I'm thinking, but I'm trying to find it.
Probably here.
Yeah, that's it. And you've got all these great notes, all these beautiful
Okay.
notes.
Yeah.
So we're going to start. Could we do that? Ma da da. So this is before 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 before 7.
The whole bar?
Mm-hmm, please. Beautiful. How hard was that?
I just had to think bigger.
You go, oh. I mean, it just feels so unflute-like and so non-instinctive when you're in the high, excited part of the piece, or in the high register of the flute, to be as deep as you need to be. That was so good. Okay. I just want to hear the beginning again, and I really want to hear it soft.
Okay.
Really, really soft. And I tell you, I remember this. At 6, soft, unbelievably soft when you come in there, even though it's not marked. Okay, here we go. Still soft. Long way to go. Oh, that's where it got wiry.
Oh.
So we're starting, oh my gosh, I wish we had bar numbers. Oh yeah,
5
5 after 1. One time by yourself. Really focus on those 3 notes of staying open. Good. So try to make a slower, deeper vibrato. Let me hear the C sharp. Sing. Give me that. Good. So when you're playing notes that fast, it's hard not to go. But if you can go, really think of yourself as a baritone rather than a soprano. That's better. It's like the impossible challenge, but I really want you to think about that. Okay. Annie is great. Okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye. So this is my final class of the summer, and we have to go out so that I get to play something with all the students. So we're going to have a little flute band. Doesn't work.
It's okay. This is fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's okay.
So let's go a little down that way, just a hair, a couple of foot. That's good. Are we good with the camera and all of that stuff? Microphones. Okay. So the piece we're going to play, it's an arrangement of a composition that's on a new recording that I did. That's all Latin American music. It's an exploration of Latin jazz from various countries. This particular piece is called Spanish Flamenco, and we'd like to play it for you right now. And then we have more to come. Students don't even know about this part. Okay. I guess we could tune up. Hey, Patrick, tell them what you're playing.
This is an alto flute.
Give them a couple of notes so they hear how delicious it sounds. Yeah. Okay, I want us to have a little more contact here, so you guys, that's good. Are we good there? All right. Okay. So, make believe you've got your heels on. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I have some handouts. Start with these people. Everybody gets a page. 2, 3.
Oh my God.
4. Take one, pass them down.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the other side. You probably have to do 2 on a page. This is not rocket science. But this is a little bit of merging into some improvisation. And we could call it kind of jazzy improv stuff, or let's just call it improvising. So the chart that we have here, the first thing that you see is E with the triangle, F with the triangle, G, F, E. The triangle means major. It's just a chord symbol. So we basically have an E major, F major, G, F, E.
So this was
That should be E major also. Okay. Yeah, forgot my chart. Yeah, good pointing out there. In the notation, the last measure of the first line of music notation, those should be G sharps. So, for starters, let's all improvise in the key of E major. E major triads, E scales will work. We're going to do something like this. That's our tempo. E major. Any notes in E major? 1, 2, ready, go. Good. F major. F major. 1, 2, 3. Good. G major, 2, ready, go. Good. Okay, so where this all came from, now look at your music from our flamenco. Let's play the first 8 measures for everyone. First 8 measures of flamenco. You got your C part to flamenco? I mean your C music. Good. So we'll do it while he's getting that. Oh, he's fast. Actually, let's start in measure 5. Measure 5. No, measure 5 of our flamenco. Yeah. Because basically what we're going to do is we're going to improvise on this introduction to this song. Okay, so here's measure 5, 2, ready, go. You, instead of playing those bottom notes, actually to play E, F, G, F, E, okay? Good. Okay, so now here's what we're going to do. You'll be the first soloist. So here's your background. Let's just play those chords. Just start in the beginning.
Should I just play the...
You just play what's written.
Okay. 2,
3, 4. So what a basic improviser does is this. So you do this part now. I'm going to show you. I'm reading the chart now. Ready, go. Okay, feel more comfortable now? Of course. So let's hear your E major triad. Everybody, E major triads, F major triads, G major, F, E. Good. Now, band is getting warmed up. Ready? Annie soloist. 1, ready, go. Good. Hey, Ron. Anthony. Go. Patrick. Somebody knows his triads. So I just wanted to throw that out as our little kind of amen here. What I want to encourage everybody to do, anyone who plays an instrument, is actually to expand that part of your brain which is unused, which is to, oh my gosh, can I create something? And we all can create something, and just start with what you know. C major scale. There's my song for the day. And we've got a couple of minutes before we're officially out of time, and I want questions for each of the students, and they're going to give a maximum of 10-word answers. So who's got a question for any one of these brilliant people? Mark?
Is it difficult for you to do the prior master class and then come right here and do another master class?
Yeah, it's really tiring, but that's 10 words.
Now you can I'm giving you 20 words.
But when you play a recital or something by yourself, a solo recital, kind of like the competition that is happening with Patrick, you play for an hour with an intermission, so you got to get used to that kind of endurance.
Good question. Anybody else? Yes.
How did the students get hitched up with the accompanist? How does that, who arranges?
Oh, that's highly organized by the system here. Tell us how it's organized.
Well, there's a specific collaborative program at Music Academy, so there's also a solo program, there's vocal collab, and just instrumental collaborative. And there's, I think Natasha's the head of the collaborative program, so there's actually a website that you go on and you type in what you're playing, and then they sort out which accompanist will learn it, and then they...
The biggest challenge is to be really organized well in advance so that you know the pieces you're going to be playing almost throughout the whole summer, and then to get your requests in on time. So they have to be very adult in approaching all of this. It's not a bad thing. Yes?
I think when you get here, they assign you chamber or woodwind groups, but now as the summer goes on, you self-organize in groups and work on things, or they keep assigning you things?
I think so, but I think the bottom line is they're very busy. There's not a lot of opportunity for self-organizing, I don't think, just time-wise. You probably could squeeze something else in, but not much. Yes?
Outside of classical, what other music do you love to play?
Patrick loves his triads.
I now like Spanish flamenco music.
Good answer.
Anthony?
I really don't play any other types of music.
What do you listen to?
I listen to a lot of pop. I like, Britney Spears and all of that. Yeah, whatever's good.
What do you like to listen to?
Actually, I play the piano, so like just church music, that kind of stuff.
Good. Do you know a lot of hymns? A lot of...
Probably.
Probably, yeah. Good. Annie?
My sister really likes folk music, so sometimes she listens to that, and I like listening to electronic music too, but I pretty much just play classical music. I'm taking a jazz improv class next year at school, so this will be better.
Yes.
I see a lot of gold flutes up there. What's the manufacturer?
There are probably a lot of different manufacturers. Mine's made by the Burkhardt Flute Company, which is in Boston. Annie's is made by
Powell.
in Boston. Muramatsu, which is a Japanese flute maker.
I also play Burkhardt, which is like
Brennan and Lefan.
Another Boston flute maker. Most of the American flute makers are almost exclusively in New England, centered around Boston. And there are 3 or 4 really high-quality Japanese flutes. There are more and more emerging nice Chinese flutes, but pretty much the strongest ones, the most consistent ones, are the American-made flutes.
Are they all gold bodies and heads?
Well, various.
Not the keys.
Yeah, I've got silver keys. She's got a silver. It's always sterling. So it's sterling body, gold head. Anthony has
silver body.
Same thing as Harry Young.
Gold and platinum.
Oh. Patrick is very wealthy. Yes.
This is Annie's second year here. The other 3, was there any major or even minor surprise, either positive or negative, in being in Santa Barbara at the Music Academy?
Everything is great. Yeah, no complaints.
I think just the general positive support of the whole community whenever you tell someone that you're a fellow here, it's always a positive reaction and supportive.
And that's really quite unusual. I mean, given the landscape of all the music camps that go on. I mean, the support system here is really incredible. I mean, you guys work hard at it, but it's for real. Well, a big round of applause. Thank you all.
I want to thank you as a student for giving us such a wonderful 3 weeks of learning, exercise, and entertainment.
Thank you. My pleasure.